Good morning, everyone. Today's Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. This is Commissioner Bell, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our new call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So we'll call this meeting to order and start with the Commissioner's roll call. Commissioner Skar, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, I am here.
Good morning. And Commissioner Olson?
Good morning, I'm here, thank you.
Good morning. All right, then we'll hop right in with Adventist Health Tillamook and President Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
We have 19 patients in the hospital today, plus 2 brand new babies, so a busy day around in the inpatient areas this morning. 6 surgery cases scheduled today. Our ambulance crews were busy yesterday with 11 911 transports, 2 transfers, and 2 transports home. There's 121 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon. That's 36 more than yesterday. And there's 403 patients waiting to go home with no place to go, and that's 3 more than yesterday. This coming Friday, we get to celebrate our associates with our annual service awards luncheon, which means we honor people for working here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40 years. And I'm looking forward to that event. Larry Hamilton, our friend Larry, is celebrating his 40th year working for Adventist Health. And Amy Braden is at 35 years. So it'll be a great celebration for those two, as well as a bunch of other employees who fit into the other categories. And I'll share more with you about that on the call next week. So unless you've got questions for me, that's all I've got for you this morning.
Thank you, Eric. And congratulations to Larry Hamilton. 40 years of service to Adventist Health Tillamook is extraordinary. And also to Amy Braden with 35.
Yep, those are great milestones.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions for Eric? If not, we'll say thank you and move on to the Coastal Caucus. I know Senator Weber is with us.
Good morning. Yes, I am.
Good morning.
I want to congratulate the folks at Adventist also, because I don't know if you've noticed, but there are several people who have made a whole 40-year career out of working for our hospital and working faithfully. And it is a real testament to our hospital system and to our community. And so I really want to congratulate them. So last week saw the end of a very busy 35-day session. I don't have the final tally on the number of bills that were passed, but we did do a great deal of work. But several of the bills were just left on the desk, and they will be dealt with if they're refiled in the next long session. I also want to call your attention to the fact that today is filing day, and it's the day that the House floor in Salem is open, and you go there in the afternoon, and the candidates who have filed for House and Senate are posted on the boards, and everyone gets to see who is going to be running for the House and the Senate in this November election. It's an exciting experience. I've been there a couple of times to see the names come up on the boards and to be able to congratulate the people that are deciding to run. Talking about bills, I didn't get my bill funded for Highway 30, but it did get to the Ways and Means desk, and so I will continue to pursue it into the future. There are many people along Highway 30 who are very determined that this needs to happen, and we will work together to make sure of that. And speaking of Ways and Means and bill passage, I proposed 25 projects for funding within our district, and 8 of them were funded. I'm grateful for some, and I'm disappointed in others because I harped the whole session on infrastructure, water, sewer, roads, and I will continue to harp because it's extremely important that we are get those services, get that money, and be able to maintain our whole area. Unfortunately, we also had the HCP pass, and so we're going to also see what's going to happen as a result of that. It's kind of an unknown territory that we're going into as far as funding, and it was disappointing to see that the Forestry Board did not take the way of being truly transparent and looking for the best solution for the area. But, as I have told you before, my husband was sure that I had a tattoo that said "Born to Nag," and I'm going to use it for our highways, for our infrastructure, for our water, for our sewer, and especially for our most important, our children. We did get the bill on summer education passed. And I was very happy about that because last year in the long session, that was completely written out of the budget. And so now we will be able to have summer education, especially since we have the distinction of being so, our education system has not kept up with what other states have achieved, and so we need to work harder for the education of our kids. It was a session that revolved around housing. The governor's bill that wasn't passed in the last session was reworked and passed. It was a session of work on 110 and recriminalization of drugs. And it's waiting for the governor's signature, and hopefully around the 1st of September, we're going to see some significant changes after that bill is passed. One thing that I really appreciated about this was there was significant effort to include drug education in the 4002 going forward, because one thing, everybody says the war on drugs didn't work, and several other programs that we had as a country to stem drug usage didn't work. Well, then we just didn't do any education on it. And so we've got to look at what we are doing and how we're going to go forward to make sure that our kids are informed well enough so that they can make decisions that are more impactful on their lives, and we won't have a 1,500% increase in fentanyl and drug deaths in our state. Another issue that was taken up at the very end was campaign finance. Finally, it's a step forward, but that sometimes we have to come at things 2 or 3 times before we get it right. And so it is a good first step, I think, to be able to rein in some of that money that is spent on campaigns, make things more fair. I think it is a first good step. But recreational immunity is taken care of. And I'll have more to come as we continue to unravel our intended and unintended consequences of our actions and look forward to our next steps as to what's coming in the next long session. I'm really excited. I've had a lot of people approach me about issues that we need taken care of on the coast especially, and we have put together a journal of our concepts, and we will be going forward with several bills in the next long session. So I want to thank you again for allowing me to do this, I think this is a great opportunity to continue to connect our county and our people, and we'll keep working on this. I need to tell you I won't be here next week. I have a family event, and so I won't be able to do it. But thank you again, and I know that there's going to be several days coming up here real soon with lots of sunshine, and I want everybody to just enjoy the heck out of them. So thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Senator. I really appreciate your time and your work and your report. And I do have some questions. I wondered if you could, for listeners, if you could talk a little bit more about the campaign finance reform, like what it changed specifically, if they're the dollar amounts, et cetera. And also, congratulations on the 8 bills. You just told us that you had championed 20 projects and 8 of them got funded. So, 8 out of 20 seems to me like a pretty darn significant success rate. So congratulations on those. Well done. And I wonder if you could talk to us about those 8 projects that got funded.
Sure. Well, the one that we worked really hard on absolutely every one of them. And I know that there were senators that were on the Ways and Means Committee that would go the other way when they saw me coming because they knew I had about 6 things that I was going to say to them. But the Nehalem Bay Health District, they needed an additional $2 million to be able to, create more housing, take down the old hospital, and get the area prepped for additional housing, especially for housing for people that are going to work at the hospital. And so that was successful. The Tillamook Apartments over the dance studio, they received $200,000 plus to finish that project because that will increase our housing inventory by 4 apartments. The Manzanita water line got $2,700,000. Part of what they asked for from League of Oregon Cities, they had asked for additional money from me, but they got what they asked for from League of Oregon Cities last November, and so that's sizable. And then in the last long session, we had several bills called the CREF Fund, and it's the Cultural something or other. I never can remember acronyms very well, but anyway, we had 3 museum projects that were left off of the funding. Most of the funding for CREF went to some bars in Portland, unfortunately, in the long session. It made everybody mad. But anyway, the Rainier Museum had needed $500,000 to start its project. They had everything in line. They were just a little short. So the Rainier Historical Museum got $500,000. The Clatsop County Historical Society got $400,000, and the film museum in Astoria has huge plans for expansion, and they received $1 million, and that's the Clatsop County Historical Society. And then the Iron Tribe, which is housing development also in Columbia County, got $750,000, and the Tillamook Family Counseling Center got $900,000. And so that comes to $8,533,053. When you look at the whole picture, there were some representatives who got as much as $55 million for their projects. And so to say that it's all meted out equally is not true. It takes a lot of lobbying to explain just exactly how important these things are to your area. And some of the things that I thought that were no-brainers, especially surrounding water and sewer, they weren't listened to because people had other ideas. And so, unfortunately, our water and sewer projects did not get funded to the extent that would have been the best for our area. Campaign finance, I will, let me do that the next time we talk, because that's kind of interesting and it will take a little bit longer. Is
That's
that okay?
fine, Senator. Oh, yeah, that's fine. And so just doing some back of the envelope math, listening to you talk about your projects that got funded, you brought in $5.1 million to Tillamook County in the short session. So bravo. Thank you. Thank you for representing us. Thank you for the projects that did get funded. Those are very important projects, all of the ones that you described, and at least 4 of them in Tillamook County. And I appreciate about you that you're grieving the ones that didn't get funded. So thank you for fighting for those too.
I will continue to fight for them. I have a sewer plant in Clascanine that is in desperate need, and it wasn't recognized, and they just need $2 million to get over the finish line. And it doesn't make any difference how many times I said that and how important it was, especially to being able to add to the housing stock. It fell on deaf ears. And so, like I said, Tom was sure I had a tattoo that said "Born to Nag," and I will use it.
Well, I think it's what made you a great teacher and a great mayor and now a great senator. So thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Do we have other questions for Senator Weber? If not, do we have Representative Javity with us? Give him a moment, unmute. Well, I hope Representative Javity is able to join us, and we'll make room for him on the agenda if he pops in later. We don't have anyone from Tillamook County Community Health Center today. They let us know they're not here with us. So we'll move on to Nehalem Bay Health Center. Do we have Gail Nelson?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you today?
Well, thank you.
Good. Good morning, Commissioners and Tillamook County. 3 announcements today from the Nehalem Bay Health Center in Wheeler. First, the pharmacy will open an hour late next Tuesday, which is March 19th, to accommodate an important training for the pharmacy staff, which leads me into the very next topic. Our new pharmacy pickup locker will be installed next week, and this is a new program which was made possible through a partnership with Care Oregon, and it will allow patients and customers to pick up their prescriptions from a secure locker in the lobby of our health center without having to perhaps wait in line with their pagers. So for more information, people can visit nehalembayhealth.org and look under the pharmacy section of our website. And of course, if you still would like to pick up a pager and visit the pharmacy that way, that's still very possible. And finally, our new family nurse practitioner, Amber Hamilton, started serving as the medical provider at the Nia County Student Health and Wellness Center last week. She serves students of the school district 2 days a week over there at the school-based health center. The remainder of her time is spent at our main health center here in Wheeler. And those are my announcements for this morning.
Thank you, Gail. The locker system for picking up prescriptions sounds very convenient, so that's interesting.
Yes, we'll find out.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Do we have Frank Hanna Williams with us?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Frank Hanna Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. I have no particular information this morning. You can reach us for information about the agency, appointments, other information, 503-842-8201. We're in the middle of, we're just finishing up our active parenting series, and the last of 3 sessions will be on Monday the 18th. And if you haven't attended the other 2 and want to attend just that one, that is perfectly fine. You just won't be able to get a completion certificate for having been at all 3, but it will allow you to be able to participate 6 to 8 p.m. on Monday, March 18th. And if you have any questions about that, you can give us a call, and we can get you connected to be a part of that. And if there are any questions about that or any other things, I can take them now.
Thank you, Frank. Hey, Senator Weber just talked about funding of $900,000 for Tillamook Family Counseling Center, and I wonder if you can speak to that. I'm curious about that.
I am just a little embarrassed. I'm not quite sure what that is. And
Okay.
I think it is one of a couple of things. And before I speak out of turn here, I'm going to just kind of trace that back. There have been a number of things that have been in the hopper, and one of them has to do with it would be a housing initiative, and I believe that is that, and that was kind of put forth a number of months ago as some possibilities. And to be honest with you, I was not sure if that was going to be considered. So I'm going to say I'm not going to speak before I have more information. So I heard that as well, and I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to wait on that.
That's okay. We can talk about it next week. So it'll be a happy surprise.
Okay. That's
all right. Thank you.
I can be more. I can give a more informed response.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Do we have any questions for Frank? If not, we can move on to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Brown.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning. We can. Welcome back.
Thank you. So only just have a couple of things. Just a reminder that we do have some positions open. We have positions open in our criminal division, which is patrol, as well as a female-only position in our corrections division. You can find those on the Tillamook County website, or you can speak to a deputy and get some insight if you run into somebody. But we are definitely looking for qualified candidates for those positions. And then I just have kind of a quick announcement. Basically, as of March 1st, our community corrections, so parole and probation, is fully staffed. We have not been able to say that any one of our 3 divisions has been fully staffed for years. Well before I became sheriff, we have not been fully staffed in any of our divisions, and we can finally say that one of our divisions is fully staffed, and that is exciting news. It's a very positive thing as far as I can see. So just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that and put out that announcement. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Well, congratulations on being fully staffed in community corrections. That is a big deal. And as long as I've been a commissioner, which is 5 years now, indeed, this is the first time anything at the sheriff's office has been fully staffed. So that's exciting.
Yes, it is, for sure.
Hey, do you want to say anything about the hiring fair in April?
Yeah, it's not really actually a hiring fair. It's a little
Okay.
bit different than what we've passed. The last couple of events we did were actual hiring events where we did both the testing and then scheduled the following day interviews. We're doing it just a little bit different where it's actually more of a testing event where we're just offering the testing that is necessary for the application process. So it's the written post-test as well as the physical ORPAT test. And those scores are good. Once you pass the post-test, it's good for life, I believe. And the ORPAT is good for a year. So even if you're not quite ready to put in, I would strongly suggest coming and taking the test. giving yourself the opportunity to pass it and have it on record so that down the road, if you'd like to put in, you can. But yeah, it's just a testing event. It's not necessarily a hiring event. Once the testing is done, we can look for interviews being set, but it won't necessarily be the very next day.
Thank you. And is that for criminal and jail, for deputy positions in patrol and the jail?
It is, yes. It's actually for a deputy position, regardless
Okay.
of which division you may be putting in for, because our testing standards are the same across all three divisions. So
Okay. And am I remembering correctly that it's April 5th at the fairgrounds?
April 5th at the fairgrounds, yes. And we'll be getting information put out on our Facebook page. So soon.
All right, terrific. So anybody who's listening, who's interested, or has kids or relatives who might be interested, April 5th at the fairgrounds, you could knock out a couple of those important tests.
For sure.
All right. Anything else, Sheriff?
Nope, that's all.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Yeah, Chair Bill, this is Commissioner Scar. I was at AOC yesterday and we were talking about the different bills that passed in the short session, and there was additional funding for community corrections that I think was to backfill for the cuts that were previously basically cuts from the state. Sheriff, do you know how much we received, and if that, I know we've been talking about the challenge and having to use from our reserves to keep that department full, which we're all excited that it is full. Do you know if what you got covered that, or if we're still going to be running toward a deficit on that one?
Honestly, I have no idea what our percentage is at this point. I'm not even certain that our community corrections lieutenant would know that number quite yet. As soon as I do know that number, I can pass it along, but it's still a little early in the game to know exactly what our cut is, I guess. But I don't know that number, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I think it's exciting that they recognized from the general fund some money that needed to come back to counties, that when they made that cut that they did basically harm that wasn't okay. So exciting opportunity, and hopefully that will help keep community corrections fully funded. Thanks.
For sure, you bet.
Hey, Sheriff, do you have any reaction, or do you want to say anything about the revision of Measure 110, or do you want to maybe plan to talk about that next week? Because that's very interesting and will be really impactful.
It would probably be a little bit better for down the road, just so I can get every detail kind of lined out, because it's just as Measure 110 when it passed was a big change. This fix is going to be another big change. You know, we're going from not being able to take any action on, minor or possession of drugs. We're going to be going back to being able to take action against or take action on those. So what I can say just broadly is that House Bill 4002 recriminalized essentially possession of certain narcotics, and made it a unclassified misdemeanor. And there's some deflection conversations that are going to be had. That was one of the big pushes with one side, is that they wanted deflection or diversion, so that's become voluntary. But like I said, there's still a lot of details that in order to have a good conversation about it, we would have to have a little bit more time, and I would need to be prepped a little bit better. But this fix did recriminalize possession.
Thank you. And I knew you were unprepared for that question, so thank you for fielding it. And I'll look forward to talking about it in more depth at a later date, next week, if you're ready.
Sure.
Thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions for the sheriff? If not, we can move on to emergency management. Do we have Randy Thorpe with us this morning?
Yes, you do. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Well, as was mentioned by the Senator, we are looking for some sunny weather finally towards, my guess, starting tomorrow afternoon and through the weekend. So, like she said, get out there, enjoy the sunshine, but be safe, of course. And in between your cleaning chores that you're going to be doing this weekend with cleaning out your closets and washing your windows and doing all those fun spring things, please take some time for some emergency preparedness spring cleaning. Such things as when was the last time you checked your first aid kit? Are there things in there that need to be updated or replaced or replenished? And do you know when it's time to replace your fire extinguisher in your house? These types of emergency preparedness tasks often get overlooked because what we do is we go out, we buy all those supplies, we store them, and then we kind of forget about them until we need them, and we don't check to make sure that everything that we need is there, and expiration dates are still a distance out, and we have got all the latest and greatest that we need in those kits. So again, just take some time to ensure that your family and your home are prepared for any types of emergencies that may happen. But first and foremost, enjoy that sun out there this weekend. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Randy. Do we have any questions for Randy? Well, Randy, yesterday I heard that you were going to get started attending the South County Emergency Volunteer Corps meetings, and I just wanted to say thank you for your leadership of all the volunteer preparedness efforts that are happening all over Tillamook County, and it's very encouraging that that so many citizens are getting involved and working on preparedness for their neighborhoods, because that's what's going to be essential when we have that kind of emergency, is that people in those neighborhoods are prepared. And not everybody knows that your job is partly your job is to respond to emergencies in Tillamook County, like the floods, et cetera, that we frequently have. But also part of your job is to help volunteers prepare. And you're just doing a great job at that. So I wanted to say so, and thank you for your work.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner. It makes my job easy because we do have great people within this county, and a lot of them have really stepped up and taken this preparedness ball and are running with it here in the county. And so it's kind of great to see it happen. And like I say, I've been here about 2.5 years, and I've really seen an upswing in the preparedness movement, which is really great to see here in this county. And I know for a fact it's going to continue.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, do we have any questions for Randy? If not, we'll jump into the Board of Commissioners updates. Commissioner Scar, would you like to start?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to comment on a couple things that Senator Weber brought up. Certainly the first and foremost, and what has taken the most of my time over the last week, has been the vote regarding the Habitat Conservation Plan that occurred with the Board of Forestry on Thursday. On Wednesday, following our board meeting, I took off down to Salem and participated in the final testimony that was available from the Forest Trust Land Advisory Council to the Board of Forestry, in which we urged them to take a pause, to go back and address the changes in the environment that had occurred since this process started. Obviously, they chose not to do that. And on Thursday, they passed the Habitat Conservation Plan as written. So what that means for us is still a little difficult to determine, because the modeling done by the by the Department of Forestry has changed so drastically over the course of the planning of the project. I've had personal conversations with both of the district foresters here in Tillamook as well as in Forest Grove, because I think what some people don't realize is that a portion of the revenue that we receive from our forest actually comes out of the Forest Grove district, because a corner of Tillamook County is in their district. And in those conversations, what they have told me is that the modeling, if you use the lowest number in the model is probably accurate, which would be somewhere around 60 million board feet for Tillamook County. And I can tell you over the last 5 years, we have had years where we received 100 million board feet. We have averaged closer to 75 to 80 million board feet. So we do expect to take a significant cut across Tillamook, according to my conversations with the district foresters. At the state level, talking with the deputy forest chief, it's been harder to hone in on those numbers. And so we've had some sort of interesting conversations. So what I have requested is that we have both the district foresters and the deputy forest chief come and speak to us together at the same time at a Board of Commissioners meeting. Right now, that is tentatively scheduled for the 27th of March. And I have asked them to come prepared to talk to us about the sales that are already sold, so we will know what to expect in the next 3 years as those are harvested, and to talk to us about what they expect the implementation plans will look like under the HCP going forward, so we can know what to expect following those 3 years as well. I don't know if we'll get to the level of detail that we would like. It's very challenging to do those kinds of predictions for the Board of Forestry or for the Department of Forestry, and very challenging for them to give us hard numbers because, of course, the price of timber fluctuates. So we're going to do our best to truly understand what to expect. We're going to try to get the Department of Forestry to come together and speak to us with one voice about expectations, so that we're not hearing one thing from our district foresters and a different thing from the state level. Because if we can get them all to somewhat agree, it gives us at least a bit more certainty, so that as we jump into our budgeting for this year and the years to come, we know if that 30% predicted reduction in harvest will impact Tillamook County at the full 30%, or at something below or something above. So I will keep you all posted on what date and time that meeting's going to occur, because I think it will be important for all of us, again, to hear ODF with one voice to help plan into our future. And we were trying to get that conversation scheduled prior to our budget hearings, so that we would have the benefit of that as we made decisions about adding expenses, et cetera, that would be not only for this year, but into the future. So that's what I'll say about the HCP. Obviously, we are very disappointed and expect changes in our community, and doing our best to get the best information we can around what that will look like. So that's the HCP. Again, a lot more I could say, but we've talked about it for a long time. Senator Weber also was talking about substance use disorder, talking about our students and how do we get the information to them. And I want to highlight again a grant that we received at the county through our Tillamook, working in partnership with that group and Adventist Health, who will be the lead on that grant. But it was a grant through the county, and that grant provides continued funding for substance use disorder prevention in the schools. So there's already curricula being provided through the Betty Ford Hazelton Clinic and education systems in 2 of our school districts. This will make sure that it's in all 3, and it will make sure that it continues for at least 2 more years. So it's a great opportunity for us to continue to educate our kids about what drugs are on the street, about the impacts of those drugs physically, the impacts to the lives, and just really to keep that conversation going with best practices and experts in the field. So it's really excited that that will be happening, and that we can continue to support that in our county. I'm going to talk a little bit about other things from the session that were priorities for the Association of Oregon Counties. So as I've talked about before, Tillamook County is a member of the Association of Oregon Counties, along with 35 of the 36 counties. And our focus this year at the Association of Oregon Counties was to really dig in, as the 35 counties that we are, and find out what the priorities were that the 35 counties agreed on, and take that to the legislature, so that the voice of counties, which are very often the government arm that have to provide the services, so that we were coming together with one voice. And Measure 110 was one place where the counties came in together, linked in arms, really working to say, We want a shared solution. And as the 35 counties, here's what we've done over the last 12 months to determine what we believe would be a good shared solution. And we're excited to share that really what came out of House Bill 4002 reflected a lot of what the counties were looking for. There was that last minute rush, and I think the sheriff commented briefly on the deflection programs, the opportunity for folks who are arrested for the drug possession have the opportunity to seek treatment rather than do jail time. So there was a huge rush at the last end of the session that was encouraged by counties to say, put money into deflection, make it non-competitive for counties so it is available for any county that wants to implement that type of a program and make that part of this solution. So we're excited that that happened. I don't know for Tillamook County if we will be able to pull together a deflection program with the amount of funding that we will receive, because it's way too early in this process to know how much that will be. But it is an opportunity for us as counties that was driven largely by the Association of Oregon Counties and the work that was done there in partnership with the Sheriff's Association and the DAs. So there's a really good opportunity there. So again, Measure 110, the counties were at the table for the process. The counties made sure that what was done was something that counties could implement. And that was a really important piece of that. So it's a great thing for us to be part of AOC. The other big bill that went through this session, as was mentioned, was the governor's housing bill. There were lots of pieces in there. There are a number of pieces that we're pretty excited about. One of the ones that AOC was advocating for was a fast track process to expand urban growth boundaries. That's one that passed. I don't know whether any of our local cities here in Tillamook County will be able to use it or not. There's more details to dig into. But again, the Association of Oregon Counties kept our lobbyist at the table to make sure that counties were always in that conversation, that should a city choose to expand their UGB through this process, that there is a requirement that they work with counties, that they talk about infrastructure such as roads and sewer and water, things that might otherwise fall to the county to make happen, that we have to be at the table for that. So great opportunity to make sure that collaboration will happen as that moves forward. Another piece that was in the governor's housing bill that's exciting, and it was part of a conversation that I was in, gosh, it's been about 1.5 years ago after it didn't pass in the last session, and it was brought together by Representative Pam Marsh to really look at what are the tools that would be helpful, useful, actually move the needle on housing development. And one of those is a revolving loan fund for middle income housing. So that is a revolving loan fund. It would be available to cities and counties where you can borrow funding, use it to incentivize developers, and then the growth in tax revenue over a window of time would pay that back into the fund, and it could be used again. So that is a tool that we are hoping will help with what we typically call workforce housing. We hear often that it's really important to have more workforce housing. We completely agree. And the challenge has been that there have been no tools at the state or federal level to support that. Tillamook County has used our multifamily rental housing fund to support that type of that income level of housing. And now we have the opportunity, should we choose to get into this revolving loan fund process to provide us with cash to continue to do that work. So that's a really exciting piece out of the governor's budget or the governor's bill that we believe will be useful to us. So lots more happened in session. The housing bill has more tools in it. Measure 110 has lots more to talk about, but those were the big pieces on that. The last thing I want to talk about really quickly is we all know we are coming up to budget shortly. The budget hearings are April 8, 9, and 10 until right here for our Tillamook County budget. We have 3 new budget committee members, so there's going to be a lot of, I think, hopefully education as a part of this process, and I encourage residents to tune in as well. Our budget is definitely an interesting creature at over $140 million, but recognizing that only 30 or so of that is general fund, that the majority of our budget are special revenue funds that cannot be used for basic services. So as we look going forward at our general fund, you will see in our budget hearings, that's where the majority of the conversation occurs. Those are the funds that come from your taxes, Those are the funds that come from timber revenue and the funds that come from essentially fees that are charged by the county for particular services. So that's where you'll see the majority of our conversation happen. I always invite people to take a look at their property tax statement to see what they're funding with their property taxes, because only a slice of that goes to the general fund. It's $1.46 per thousand on your home. The rest of what you pay in taxes is due to special districts, levies, bonds, different things that are happening. So I do encourage you to take a peek at your tax bill. If you're not sure where to get it, you can go online to the county assessor's website and you can search up your tax bill. It shows all the detail of that, because for many of us, the tax bill is paid through escrow if we have a mortgage, and we don't always get a chance to take a look at it and really study it. But I encourage you during this budget time of year to think about what are you paying in taxes? What is it going to? And think about that the county gets $1.46 per thousand to spend on a variety of very important general fund mandated services, and that we'll be digging into that as our part of our budget process. So I know that Sean Blanchard is here with us today as the treasurer. I don't know if she wants to add anything to what I've said regarding budget, but we're trying to make sure that the transparency with the community is there and that you all know what we're working on and what we have to work with. Treasurer Blanchard.
Good morning, Commissioner Scar.
Good morning.
So just one correction, the budget meetings are the 9th, 10th, and 11th of April. So
Thank you.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, it's just very important for people to, like you said, look at their tax statements, see what the funds that they're paying is going to. Thank you, excuse me, for mentioning the HCP. That will have an effect on not only us and our general fund, but also the smaller taxing districts that do receive timber dollars. Otherwise, it's just going to be a process. If anybody has any questions, they are more than welcome to reach out to me.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. Treasurer Blanchard is our expert. So while I talk about it a lot, remember that the treasurer is the one who knows the nitty gritty ins and outs, and we do invite questions and public participation. Okay. Thank you. And with that, Madam Chair, I will turn it back to you.
Thank you. Commissioner Olson.
Well, good morning, commissioners. Yes, I have a few things we can talk about this morning. As you've heard now several times, the Oregon legislature adjourned last Friday evening, I believe it was Thursday, actually, a day or two early. And that's a good thing, because now you can relax the grip on your wallet and purse, so you never know what they're going to do over there. But in my memory, this was one of the better sessions, because they actually got a number of important things done, as you have just heard. One that wasn't mentioned that did pass is Senate Bill 1576, which was the recreational immunity bill. And some of you will recall our discussions in previous calls and elsewhere. This was a bill that came about because of a lawsuit that occurred in the city of Newport, holding that the city was liable for some injuries suffered by an individual who was walking across a trail owned and managed by the city of Newport. And that was a departure from what had been the case over the years when you traveled on land owned by the cities or counties, or in many cases private parties, and you suffered an accident. You could not go after those entities or the individual simply because you were there at your own risk. That lawsuit changed it, and of course then the immediate reaction was for cities and counties and private parties to begin closing their trails and access points. This reversed the amounts to a reversal of what the court said, and will provide some immunity. And it's only good, I think, for about 18 months, hoping that the next legislative long session next spring will go back and craft a permanent solution. So not to worry now, if you cross a trail owned by a city, county, or even if you use private property, go hunting or fishing, there is some protections back to the landowner, so they don't have to post it and go from there. But that was another important piece of legislation that came out of this year's session. A couple of other things. I've been going around to our various cities just to introduce myself and talk about a few things that will come before all of us here in the county over the next several months, including possibility of acquiring a building and moving our court operation into that building. And then also a radio system. We have in the county public safety radio system that's 20 plus years old and needs a lot of updates and changes and modernization. So I've been talking about the fact that they'll hear more about that just to prep them. Last night I was at the city of Nehalem, and I was reminded of what people do to serve our community. There's a large picture of former Mayor Shirley Kalkoven in the middle of their city hall, right on the wall behind the councilors. And go back and think about what that lady meant to Tillamook County over the years. She served as a mayor for I don't know how many years. She was on the county's budget committee for many years, and a lot of other things. So there are so many people like her who just step up and do what they do frequently without any compensation. So that was a good reminder to see that. Tonight I'll be at Bay City, same presentation, just take 5 or 10 minutes, talk about these things. I've also spent a little bit of time now with Citizens Advisory Committee on Land Use Matters in Neskowin. And I will tell you that the group in Neskowin is one of the more engaged groups I've ever been with in my entire career of being around this sort of thing. They are meeting actually 2 or 3 times a week to craft new bylaws for their advisory committee. And they take this work really seriously. They come at it with an agenda. They have flow charts. They have graphic details. And they've gone so far as to engage a parliamentarian on how they conduct their business. And all this for an advisory committee. So the people in Neskowin, I guess, would be the front cover of a book on community engagement. They certainly know how to do it. The people have stepped up, and it's really quite something to see. So the last thing I would remind listeners, I believe Senator Wyden will be in Tillamook County this Saturday at 4 o'clock at the Port of Tillamook Bay, where he usually appears when he comes through. And this was a reschedule of an event several weeks ago when he was called back to Congress when they had some urgent matters and he couldn't make it, so he had to postpone. But I understand he'll be here 4 o'clock at the port this Saturday. So you may disagree with the man or you may love him, either one, but you do have to acknowledge that he does show up. He tries to hit every county in Oregon every year, and I believe he does. He's had well over 1,000 of these meetings over the years. So if you have nothing to do on Saturday afternoon, if you simply want to go talk to the individual and give him a piece of your mind or thank him for what he's doing, this would be the time and place. So with that, Commissioner, I'll be quiet and you can pass it on to our cities. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, I will just say a few words that we've pretty well covered the short session. I want to say I'm thrilled that the recreational immunity fix passed, and we've all been worried about that. If you think about how many trails, recreational trails, there are in Tillamook County that we enjoy, that residents enjoy, that visitors enjoy, that were at risk with the lack of recreational immunity, it was really very worrisome to think about all the trails that might have had to be closed because the landowners didn't have protection from lawsuits. So, it's interesting to think about how much of the operations of our society are wrapped up now in preventing litigation. It's remarkable, actually. So I am thrilled that there's a fix, at least a temporary fix for recreational immunity, and that our trails will stay open because it really contributes to our quality of life here and certainly to the visitor experience. And I'll just give a brief update on the recruitment for a parks director. I've mentioned on this call before that I'm the interim director of Tillamook County Parks. I have been since October, and I love working in parks. It's been a pleasure, and I'm spread pretty thin. And so we have parks director candidates coming in next week. So on Tuesday of next week, we will have parks director candidate interviews, and we have some really dynamic parks professionals coming from different places in the country. And They're going to meet with the commissioners, of course. They're going to meet with the Parks Advisory Committee, which is a dedicated group of volunteers who champion our park system. They're going to meet with parks employees. They're going to tour the county and tour our park system. And I look forward to reporting back on that process. But we have some really terrific people interested in the job. And I just want to say that in this process, it has reminded me to be grateful of where we live. You know, every day I'm grateful, but we kind of take for granted how amazing it is to live here, like how privileged we really are to live here, because, you know, every day we drive down 101, there's, you know, stunning views, but we get used to them. So it's been a pleasure to see Tillamook County through other people's eyes and realize and remember that we live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, and people want to come here because it's so gorgeous. And just, you know, a handful, we have 6 campgrounds, and several of them are absolutely stunning. Barview is gorgeous, Trask River Campground, gorgeous, Kilchis River Campground, incredibly beautiful. Whalen Island is just a gem. And so people from all over the country have been looking at pictures of our Tillamook County parks and thinking, oh my God, I want to work there. And it's really renewed my gratitude for living in such a beautiful place where we have so many amazing outdoor recreation opportunities. So more to come on that story. And with that, we will hop to the cities. Do we have Mayor Stock with us from Manzanita?
You do. Can you hear me all right, Commissioner Bell?
Yes, good morning.
Great. Well, I was going to say good morning from Manzanita, where the skies are blue, but in 3 minutes, that's completely changed. So the skies are gray, but we know it's blue behind it. So good morning to everyone from the north. As always, I would say thank you very much for all the contributions and the input everyone on this call has. It's extremely informative to those of us who can't keep up with all of the meetings and work that you all do. So it's a great chance to get a countywide view on things, and we really appreciate that. I'm going to focus our comments this morning on infrastructure and housing, which have been a big part of a number of the updates. I'd like to start out by offering our thanks to every single person on this call who directly or indirectly helped our city get the $2.7 million grant from the Oregon legislature for infrastructure. That appropriation is going to be focused on providing water infrastructure to our urban growth boundary. And this is going to support housing and some good things we have coming up in terms of affordable housing. But it also, at the same time, will be creating redundancy and resiliency in our overall water system, which is terrific news for us, and we're very appreciative of getting that money. At the same time, we're going to do some pedestrian and safety improvements on a street that's well traveled on foot by a lot of people going from our state park and residences between the state park and our main town street, Lanita, for those of you who know Manzanita. So we're very happy about that. And related to that is housing. We've made another step forward in a number of steps we've taken over the last 3 years towards affordable housing and more of it in our community. So yesterday, our hardworking planning commission met and agreed to a resolution that'll be put to our city council that will be asking us to change the zoning for a couple of acres of land in town so it can be, and my dog Rosie says good morning to everybody. Sorry about that. The land will be used for, we hope, things are still in the works, affordable housing. So many people have been working on this, and it's a good example of how lots of people working on different strings of this work, or all that work starting to come together now. So we're excited that that'll be coming to our council for a vote, and we're also looking forward to a couple of developers who've been working very hard on some proposals for affordable housing to be coming to our planning commission. That'll be hopefully our next step. So we're making progress there, and everyone involved with this is very pleased. As you all know, this is an extremely important issue for us as a community, for the county. So these nice milestones that you can say, hey, we accomplished this, feel really good. So I'd like to thank everyone involved with that. On the City Hall front, I said last week that we were going to be awarding our contract to our general contractor for our City Hall project. That did happen with a unanimous vote on Wednesday at our council meeting. So that work is officially underway now, and we have a groundbreaking scheduled for that on April 6th. So more news to come on that. We'd love to have any of you join us for that. No details to share yet, but that's coming up for us. And again, thank you to everyone, and on to the next city.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate your report. Do we have anyone with us from the city of Nehalem? Or Wheeler? How about the city of Rockaway Beach? Mayor McNeely? How about the city of Garibaldi?
Yes, hi.
Good
I have a
morning.
quick update for today. Good morning.
Mayor Findlay.
We wanted to thank everyone for coming out last week for Coast Guard Appreciation Week and for being the 33rd, I believe, official one in the entire United States. So that was just a huge honor that Garibaldi was recognized as an official Coast Guard city. And there's a regular council meeting next week and a special one tonight. Planning should be last week of the month, and we'll be back to somewhat a regular schedule for next month's cadence of meetings. And then soon there will be a Pardon Our Dust details campaign, details for a Pardon Our Dust campaign. We do have a pretty big ODOT project starting, as well as some hefty port construction projects, and some street closures and stuff. So that will be coming everybody's way soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. And congratulations on the recognition for being a Coast Guard city. That really is a great honor.
Thank you. We're very excited.
That's great. And do you know when the ODOT project starts in Garibaldi?
Well, they're waiting on one more signature from us tonight, but my understanding is this summer.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. All right, we can move on to the city of Bay City.
Yes, good morning. This is City Manager McCall. Can you hear me?
Good morning, we can.
Yeah, so I just want to call everybody's attention to the fact that tonight beginning at 6 o'clock, we will have our regular city council meeting here at the community hall in Bay City. We have, if you look at our agenda, it is an extremely long agenda, but quite a few of the items are kind of regular or similar to each other. Among other things, we are adjusting our rates for water, sewer, street maintenance, and the other fees effective July 1st to reflect inflation. We're having some different updates on different things and permitting going on in the city and approving a couple contracts. One of the things that is exciting, if you're what I would call a government geek or someone who gets geeked out in government, we went through a pretty long process to update our development ordinance and our codes. They will go into effect on Monday of next week. So at the end of this week, we say goodbye to the old codes and welcome in the new ones. And we are also going through a codification process. So we'll begin tonight the first reading of an ordinance where basically we take the first 704 ordinances that were passed by the city of Bay City over the past 110, 12 years, and we're rolling them all into one unified code that will also be a living code and much easier to search on our website. So we're starting that at the moment. And I think that's going to really help make it much easier for the public to kind of navigate through our code as it is more readily accessible. One thing I would like also to bring up, Commissioners, both Olson and Bell mentioned Senate Bill 1576 and recreational immunity. We have been paying close attention to that also. I'm not sure what it is on the county level, but on the city level, there is a step that we need to take. According to Section 5, because we are a city under 500,000 people, we have to go through an extra step within a resolution saying that we would like to take advantage of this opportunity during this time. So we're looking at that not just for ourselves, but also with the nonprofit that operates some great trails here in the city, so that we will all be safe as we move forward. So I guess that's a word to my fellow cities that we all need to keep an eye on this. It's not immediately just given once the governor signs it, but we also need to take an extra step. So with that, that wraps it up, and I hope to see lots of people here tonight, 6 o'clock at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And thanks for mentioning that there's a resolution that smaller cities need to pass to avail themselves of the recreational immunity opportunity. I didn't know that, so I appreciate you providing the heads up. How about Nathan George from the city of Tillamook?
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me?
Good morning, we can.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you very much. First, I want to give a brief overview of our March 6th council work session that was held last Tuesday. It was originally on Monday, but due to the weather, it got moved to Tuesday night. So the police department gave an annual report on their 2003, everything going on in the police department in 2003, all the statistics and the things that happened. They did a really great job on that. Our police department continues to operate with very low amount of officers, 24/7, which is awesome, and they have a really high volume, almost about 1,000 to 1,100 calls per month that they take. Also, police department talked about the pillars of law enforcement, a standard from the federal government, and how our police department has implemented these and meets or exceeds all standards. And finally, we had an overview from our Public Works Department talking about our city wastewater system, both the treatment and collection, the shortfalls, challenges, and issues the city is experiencing. And this was in direct response to members of the City Council that would like the city to take over ownership and maintenance of the private sewer lateral lines between their property line and point of connection. So the jobs of the staff is to give information so that the council can make an educated decisions. Both of these two departments put a lot of work in their presentation, preparation, and delivery, and I was very pleased. The city would also like to thank Senator Weber, Representative Javity, and all others working to help secure funding for our community and county for infrastructure upgrades, especially wastewater, sanitary water, sewers, well, yeah, it is wastewater, excuse me, streets and roads, and stormwater. We appreciate their recognition of the seriousness of these issues, and the funding is necessary to fix these problems. So I was pleased to hear the different report for different project funding this round, and also we're grateful for the past and look forward to the future. The city was privileged to host the Portland State University and DLCD, Department of Land and Community Development, forecasting meeting for city and county stakeholders last week here at City Hall, and we appreciate everyone who was able to participate. In the police department, Lieutenant Troxel attended the Public Safety Collaboration meeting at Adventist Health Hospital last week. Thank you to the hospital for their continued support and partnership with their public safety partners. And Sergeant Hollis, our Executive Assistant Larson, and Lieutenant Troxel work closely with Public Works staff to prepare the police department. This partnership was invaluable. It was really great to see both departments working and cleaning out a basement and moving items and getting things ready. So that was wonderful. School Resource Officer Olson, Lieutenant Troxel attended the Child Abuse Multidisciplinary Team meeting last week. And after this meeting, Lieutenant Troxel attended the Child Abuse MDT Executive Committee meeting. These are excellent partnerships in place. Tillamook County is doing a great job regarding trauma-informed and child-centered work. And Lieutenant Troxel also met with our Tillamook County Library Director regarding solutions for people leaving trash and staying overnight in their parking lots. This is a great discussion. Several ideas were developed, so we want to thank the library management and their continued partnership with the City of Tillamook. Also, Lieutenant Troxel, who is our acting chief, met with our Northwoods Accreditation Alliance regarding the police department's progress in becoming accredited. This is a very exciting time for our department. So just for those who may not be as familiar with accreditation is making sure that our department meets or exceeds multiple national and state standards in what we do, how we report, how we operations, policies, procedures, safety. Accreditation is really looked upon as a really great way to make sure your department is doing a really good job. And they also evaluate every 3 years once they meet the accreditation. So it also helps CIS, for example, our insurance, our property and casualty insurance just told us recently at a conference we had that they really value those departments are accredited because they know that there are going to be less problems. So anyway, that's exciting, and in the future, I want to have our Public Works Department come accredited as well. That'll be further in the future. So Lieutenant Trucks will also attend the opioid use reduction team meeting. This meeting has several community partners at the table doing very hard work, and our Tillamook police officers are trained and prepared to respond to overdoses. So that's something everyone should know. Our police officers are trained and prepared. In Public Works Department, just a reminder, as I will continue to do for a few months, since 1970, residents have been responsible for maintaining their private sewer ladder lines and fixing them when problems occur. And fortunately for our community, Tillamook Council has changed the compliance timeline recently from 60 days to 365 days, so from 2 months to 1 year, with possible extensions available for qualified residents up to an additional 6 months. Additionally, the city has severe rainwater issues currently coming to the treatment system. 50 to 70% of those issues on the private side of the city system, and the rest is on the city system, so we have a lot to fix. Ordinance violation notices are slowly going out to residents with failed sewer laterals. City will be working on this a little bit at a time. Again, the goal is compliance to help our community for the residents, as the residents are actually paying $1.4 million extra annually to treat rainwater. So that's all residents paying. Some residents have fixed their lateral lines and some haven't. And the ones that haven't, we have the problem, and everyone is paying for that. So this is significant cost for something that should not come into our system. Additionally, the city would like to encourage and remind citizens that the Sewer Line Warranties of America policy, Sewer Line Warranties of America policy is available through HomeServe. This is a very low-cost warranty and can help provide financial assistance when fixing lateral lines, even the water line to your home. And more of this is available to the city or at their website. So also, I will talk about a little bit here, our new website, but there will eventually be a page on there that gives all the resources that people can have. There's also a special loan that's available that our whole community qualifies through the, it's slipping my mind, through the federal government, rural development, that people can qualify and get a low-interest loan. The Water Distribution Division is in the process of reading water meters throughout this week. Please refrain from parking on or obstructing access to your water meter during this period to ensure an accurate reading. And accurate water readings are critical for billing precision and detecting potential water leaks that may not be ultimately visible. Also, unusually high water meter readings can indicate leaks or issues, such as a running toilet, which could result in unexpected spikes in water bills. So appreciate your cooperation in maintaining unobstructed access to the meters. Please remember, utility payments are due on the 15th of the month. Convenient payment options are available on our website or by calling our main number. The Streets Division is preparing for a proactive phase of routine maintenance, embodying our commitment to the community's well-being and the city's sustainability. A dedicated team will be engaged in various tasks, including sweeping streets, using specialized street sweeper, filling potholes, doing smooth and safe roadways, diligently maintaining local parks and enjoying residents. So I just want to give a shout out to the Public Works Department. When I first came, operations were much different, and we've gotten to the point now where the employees are empowered and they are able to go out and put processes in place and get to work, and they just get right into their processes and they know what to do. And we are now able to do almost twice the work that we were doing with the same amount of employees. Though we still need more employees, but we are doing a lot more, and really appreciate their hard work and their commitment. Throughout these endeavors, the safety of our employees and the preservation of our equipment remain paramount considerations, and Public Works takes pride in their hard work, recognizing this crucial role in upholding the static appeal, functionality, and sustainability of the city. So appreciate everybody's cooperation as we work on these different activities to improve our quality of life. As I mentioned, I'll say a little bit more here. The city's new website is now live and exists on the same homepage, which is tillamookor.gov. Citizens can go in and not only see information and content, but can sign up to receive updates in any or all areas they desire. This way, when a notice is posted, anyone following that notice will be notified. It's the same platform as Civic Plus that the county uses. It's also a company that I've been using for many years in different cities I worked in. So we also have, and things may not be perfect, if someone sees something, hey, we'd like to see this, or we're missing this, or can't find this, then please send an email over to our city recorder email, which is cityrecorder@tillamookor.gov. You can also call our main line and get to the city recorder's office, or if you can't remember that, at least get to someone and we'll get you to the right place. We have several positions available at City of Tillamook, including the Public Works technicians and a part-time urban renewal agency administrator. That position will be reporting to city manager, but reporting to city manager, but working for the urban renewal agency. And so that person will be working remotely, expected to be in their home or somewhere. It doesn't really matter where. Please visit our website or stop by City Hall for an application. Reminder, if you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergencies or dispatch for non-emergencies. The next regular council meeting will be held this coming Monday, March 18th at 7 p.m. We encourage everyone interested in your local government to attend virtually or in person. There will be several presentations, and one of those including a presentation on health for our county. The October 13th at 9 a.m., the City Council will hold a council planning and goal setting work session, which will be held at Tillamook main location of the Tillamook County Library. And that's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nathan. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? If not, I will say thank you to KTIL for broadcasting this call. Thank you to everyone for listening, and thank you to everyone for participating. We are adjourned at 9:15 a.m.